Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of On the Go with Gauri, a podcast where I, your host, talk about anything and everything on my mind. I hope you guys are doing well. Well, let me explain to you the vibes right now where I'm recording this. It's a Sunday afternoon, 12:30. It's sunny outside. I can hear the birds chirping. My curtains are open, so like my full room is like lit up with light, which naturally just makes me feel so good. I just finished finals 3 days ago, so I feel a bit more light. So I thought I would just record an episode, one that I've been meaning to record for quite a while. So let's do it. Oh, before I get started, I cannot believe I didn't even mention this in the previous episode, but let me do some quick, housekeeping things. Obviously, On the Go with Gauri can be found on all platforms where you listen to your podcasts, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. But I think something that's super exciting, that's different this time around, is that I'm filming some video episodes. So all podcast episodes will be posted on YouTube, but some of them will also have a video attached to the episode. So I'll be like filming myself recording the episode, if that makes sense. I gained some traction and some following on YouTube, and honestly I feel like there's a better connection there where I can see you guys, or rather you can see me, but I feel like I'm really directly talking to you on YouTube, and I've kind of built some sort of a family over there. So thought it'd be nice to, might as well post on YouTube as well. But if you're more of kind of just a podcast person, all episodes will also be posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. So let us get into the meat of the episode, which is kind of the start of many episodes, which is kind of where I've been. Let's talk like physically and mentally. I kind of gave a teaser to it in the first episode, but let's just kind of go a bit more deeper into it. As I mentioned, I went to Purdue University for my undergrad. I was studying aero and astronautical engineering. Purdue is in West Lafayette, Indiana, so a bit of a ways away from where I'm from. I was there for 3 years because COVID. So I'm class of 2020 in high school, right? I graduated high school in 2020. And that fall, I started college, but obviously, as you guys know, with the COVID outbreak and things shutting down, things moving more remote, I chose to do my first year online, for better or for worse, mostly better. And then did my last 3 years of undergrad in person on campus. College has been incredibly transformative for many reasons, and I think everyone can attest to this and has their own personal experiences. But something that I didn't know going into college is how much I would transform and grow as a person. Things you learn, like obviously independence and adulting and responsibilities and career. Beyond the academics, like college is so academic, especially Purdue is so academics focused. But beyond that, I'm not even going to go into that. Like, beyond that, I learned so much about life in general in a safe, controlled environment. It's been honestly the best way to get exposure to, like, the taste of being... the taste of life without being brutally thrown into, like, the hot waters, into the deep end. You're kind of... it's that beautiful in-between period of the ups and downs of life and all in a controlled environment. You know, you're like within the corridors of your college and the people that you're meeting, and the consequences may not be as bad as it would be if you weren't in this environment, if you will. I think that's something that I mean, maybe I had heard it before, I'm sure I had, but it's something that I was not expecting at all, and how I kind of figured out an identity for myself outside of home, how I started making my own opinions fully and making my own judgments and learn from my mistakes. I think, you know, when there's always these discussions of, is college worth it or not? I think this is what people need to be talking about. Yeah, you can learn stuff on YouTube. Yeah, you can go to these classes, and I'm sure maybe you might even come out smarter or brighter than someone who actually did go to a 4-year university. But I'm not sure if you can really replicate these experiences elsewhere. Maybe you can, and I'm just not aware of it, but it's just so priceless, and especially in this stage of our lives where we're, 18 to 22. We're so malleable. We're so impressionable. We're still trying to figure things out. And I don't think you ever really truly figure anything out, if I'm being honest. Everyone's experiencing life for the first time. So no one knows what they're doing, You kind of get better at it as time progresses, but you're kind of doing this all for the first time. But at these critical years, more than ever, I think the experiences that you get through a traditional college is somewhat irreplaceable, in my opinion. But with that being said, I would love to hear from people who maybe have not gone through a traditional undergrad, and the only way you learn is through experience, so you kind of just adapt and you learn and you grow. So maybe you grow quicker that way? I don't know. I'm really curious, but obviously I can only speak for myself, so that's what I'll do. Honestly, for me, moving out from home, and not only that, but being physically very far away from home taught me a lot. I cried a lot. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I cried a lot. A lot. I remember actually, I cried so much one night that I couldn't go to my class the next morning because my face was so extremely puffy. I had a headache, and I just was not in the right headspace. And that's just me being honest with you. I've been there. I've really been there. It's been rough, but it gets better. But I just think it made me so much stronger to navigate all that was to come in the next 3 years, and I think for life. I think it just set me up so well. And I think I say this a lot to myself, to my friends, but you cannot truly appreciate the highs until you've really felt the lows. I think the best way to go about kind of divvying up my experiences would be through multiple episodes, focusing on one topic and diving deeper into personal anecdotes. I'm so grateful for my time at Purdue and everything tangential to that and everything it's taught me, that I want to do it justice by sharing all of my experiences. So I think I would start off by talking about moving out. So I feel like what I had heard about moving out did not really compare to what I felt. As time passed and I spoke to more people, I realized that it was much of a more common experience. I hadn't heard about it, and I feel like maybe if I can tell one person at least that, it's normal to feel this way, then I've done my job. So moving out, wow. I had a lot of anxiety for a month and a half leading up to the actual day. It was kind of weird because I felt a bit sad and anxious in secret, because I would look at everyone around me and my friends that I was making online who were also going to move in at the same time, who were in the same boat. We all did our first year online and then we moved in person. It felt like everyone around me was just so incredibly excited and just couldn't wait, and they're ready to be away from home and ready to meet new people and live their own life, and everyone was hyping up moving out so much. But if I took a look at myself, I was just feeling so much anxiety, so much nervousness, so much uncertainty, honestly. I think that's the best word, uncertainty. I didn't really know how to feel, and I knew I didn't fully feel like all of my friends, which made me feel a bit alone. I think I am independent, and I was at that time as well, but I think I was a little too attached to the comfort. I'll share with you guys a story of mine when I was younger, about my first sleepover. If my mom's listening to this, she's gonna laugh, because I think this is one of her favorite stories to share with people. I went to one of our family friends and a close friend for my first sleepover. And everything was great. Had a lot of fun throughout the whole entire day. I don't remember what we did. I think we watched a movie. And as the night came, I started getting very nervous. And I almost want to say I had the same feeling as I did when I was about to move out. And I was like, okay, the movie's over, and I'm like kind of ready to stay up all night. Just like everyone talks about them, they're sleeping. Oh, we never slept. We just played games and we chatted up a storm all night. And I look over and my best friend fell asleep. And I was like, oh, no. So I'm like alone, and I'm like looking up at the ceiling, and it's dark, and I'm like, the air just changed. It's not that I didn't feel comfortable, it's just I felt very in a new environment, and I think it just hit me all of a sudden all at once. So I ended up trying to wake her up. She did not wake up. Like, she was just deep in sleep. I think we were just so tired from the whole entire day that I actually went up to her parents, and they were watching a movie, and I ended up watching the movie with them because I kept on saying I wanted to go home, but their dad was like he knew that I was fine. He was like, no, you're gonna stay, we're gonna watch this movie, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be okay. And it was like all good in the end. But I'm glad that he didn't call my parents, or maybe he did, I don't remember, but I'm glad that I didn't go home that day, because after that first sleepover I was like, okay, I can do anything. Like, I just slept away from my own bed and from, you know, my home and my parents for the first time, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I can do. And I remember after that, like, it was sleepovers on sleepovers on sleepovers. But I'm really glad that I was put through that awkward experience, that nervous, anxious experience where I really wanted to go home, but I kind of had to thug it out, and that made me stronger. That's such a small parallel to what I experienced when I moved out from home to go to Purdue, but I thought it was like a worthwhile story because it very much felt like the same thing, just in a shorter time span. Yeah, but moving out, lots of hidden tears, honestly. Like, I was just crying in my room. I know that sounds so sad, but like, I really was, because one part of it was that I was worried for my parents. I was worried about my sister. I'm just such a person that wants everyone to be together that I couldn't fathom the fact that I'm the one who wouldn't be with everybody. I kept on reminding myself of all of the exciting things that my friends were looking forward to, and I tried to fake it, and it kind of got me somewhere, but I won't lie, this anxious feeling didn't leave me. Fast forward, I moved to campus. My family is helping me move in. The air is just different, the energy is different, we're all kind of feeling it. I am the oldest daughter, so this was kind of everyone's first time of like moving out, and I think that year of COVID where we were all at home slowed things down, and I got more connected to my family and my sister in general, because life was just so fast paced, especially in high school, that physically just being at home almost 24/7 reconnected us even more. You know, it's not that we weren't connected before, but we were just furthermore gelled, and it's kind of hard to just one day flip a switch and be like, yeah, no, you're going from being home all the time to being across the country. I remember that as I was moving in, I just went on my computer to, I think, open up Brightspace to check my classes or something like that. Like, I would get emails from Reddit, you know, the regular update emails, and someone posted on there, and I feel like this was just a sign. Like, I cannot believe it. I remember, I physically remember where I was. I was in my room. My room was kind of like, there's boxes everywhere. I go open up my computer and I see this Reddit post, and it talks about the 333 rule about moving out, and it's similar to when you bring a new puppy to your home. Okay, future editing GB over here. I realized I didn't do a good job explaining what the puppy 333 or the 333 rule was, so let me just explain it to you guys based on what Google tells me. So it is a guideline for transitioning a new puppy into a home, suggesting it takes 3 days for initial adjustment, 3 weeks to learn routines, and 3 months to truly feel settled and comfortable in their new environment, essentially giving the puppy time to decompress and bond with their new family. Okay, hopefully this gives a bit more context for what I was trying to explain, which is that when you're moving away from home and starting a new chapter of your life, such as college, we sort of can anticipate to experience the same feelings to a certain extent in regards to adjustment and adapting to the new change. So the first 3 days, you're extremely anxious, extremely nervous. You're not eating much, you're not drinking much, you're not getting much sleep. You don't really know what's going on. It's kind of the worst of the bunch. Those are the first 3 days, but after that, the next 3 weeks are getting better. You still miss home, you're still homesick, but you're getting the hang of it. You know where your classes are. You're starting to get a routine down. It's a trial and error, you know. One day you do this, another day you do that. You know when to go to the gym, you know when to eat, you know, you're starting to get a hang of where things are. You're starting to make new friends, and do I trust this person, do I not? Those are the next 3 weeks. The next 3 months, you've kind of gotten a hang of it. It's not 100%, of course, but you're getting the hang of it. You feel comfortable. That homesickness feeling is kind of gone. Or it's subsided a lot. It comes and goes, but it's subsided a lot. Productive. You're getting things done. You feel comfortable. That's most important. You're meeting new people. You have a routine. And you kind of feel like you're starting to have a new life. Once I saw that post, it felt like such a timely post. I just felt like I hadn't heard any experience similar to what I was feeling, and I felt so heard and seen and validated when I saw that post. They explained it much better than I did, but read it. You know, it might give you some consolation. Honestly, with anything that you're doing in life. If you're starting a new job, the first 3 days are going to be kind of rough. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know who you're working with. You're still getting names figured out, trying to figure out where the best place is to park. The next 3 weeks, okay, getting things sorted out. It's not the best yet, but it's getting there. And after that, the next 3 months, okay, you got things going. Feel comfortable. The ball is rolling. We're taking steps forward. I always think about that, and that new puppy, you know, you're bringing a new puppy home. Analogy, 3-3-3 rule. I think it's exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. But moving out is hard. Like, my body and my mind were not in sync, and that's what made it even more difficult to navigate. My dad, I remember we were halfway done with moving in. We decided to walk campus because this was my first time actually seeing campus because of COVID. So I had obviously done all the online tours, but I was ready to actually walk campus. I remember seeing all of the orientation groups walking around and having fun. And I remember my dad going, wow, this is the place where you go in as kids and you come out as adults. And I think he said that to my mom, but I obviously overheard, and my goodness, that broke me. Like, my eyes just teared up instantly, and I kept on thinking to myself, was I ready? I don't feel ready. This isn't, I need a pause. Like, can I pause my life in this moment right now and just catch up? Can I let my mind and my body be in sync for once, and then can I move forward? Like, life is just moving too fast. I feel like my legs are sprinting, but my body's still behind. But also, I'm like, am I being dramatic? Like, how are people doing this? How are people figuring it out? And why am I feeling this way? Everyone else is feeling the emotions that I wanted to feel, but why am I like this? So I'm like, maybe let me fake it. Let me fake everything. Let me fake the emotions, and maybe it will all make sense. I was just so tired from traveling and moving in, and the mental exhaustion, I can never say that word, exhaustion, that nothing just was clicking. Nothing was really making sense. So the day came, my parents flew back. That was really hard. I remember I didn't really sleep that much that night because I felt alone again. My, at the time, roommates were at a party that night, so I felt pretty alone. I do need to tell you guys a story about me and my best friend that she loves sharing also. The next day, we knew that everyone was on campus, so I'd made like a group of friends online. We were all like online, virtual for the first year, and we were super excited. We were study buddies, taking the same classes, so we were ready to meet up in person for the first time. There was jokes like, what if this person isn't the person that we met online? But it was all fun and good. Finally, everyone met up in person. It was super fun. Felt like normal. It felt like we had known each other for years, which it technically had been a year. We met at this pizza shop called Mad Mush. Everyone's getting food, everyone's having fun, but I'm just kind of sitting there feeling a little bit disconnected from everything. And I see this girl who is also from where I'm from, so I'd known her before, but we weren't that close. I was like, oh hey, how are you? And I think we were just talking about like some surface level stuff. But she got a call from her parents. She knows the story better than I do, so I may be kind of jumbling up the details here, but go with it. I think she got a call from her parents, and she came back, and I was like, oh, how are you feeling? And she asked me that. And something told me that I felt, something told me that I could open up. And just, when you're meeting someone new for the first time, you're not necessarily going to tell them if you're feeling something super deep inside, just because you may not be there yet, but something told me that I could, and so I did. I said, honestly, I'm like missing my parents a lot, like they just left last night, and I'm just feeling really homesick and I'm really sad. She's like, that's crazy, because I feel the exact same way. Boom! Boom! That's what I needed to hear! Someone else is feeling the same way as I did? Good, I'm not going crazy. Thank goodness I am not going insane, and I'm a normal human being. Because I feel like, why can I just not enjoy this experience? Like, why is everyone else having so much fun, and why am I not up there at that level with them? So we talked and we connected, and honestly that opened up the floor for a lot of discussion for both of us. I really felt like I was heard and not alone. And I think I told her about the 333 rule that I read on Reddit, and we kind of laughed about it. Yeah. I mean, that's all it takes really, right, in life? Like, you just gotta know that there's one other person out there that feels the same way that you do, and that just makes the world of a difference. Because there's so many people in this world, billions and billions of people, that the last thing you'd ever want to feel is alone. So I'll talk about my exact, experiences with friends and meeting new people and managing school in later episodes, but I did kind of want to tell you guys another story, one that kind of transformed my view on this whole homesickness and kind of got me out of this rut, because honestly, I was in a rut for those 3 weeks to like the 3-month period. I was in this crazy rut. I felt so unproductive after coming from being like a productivity machine at home, getting stuff done, doing what I wanted to do. It felt so constrained mentally that it was holding me back and making me feel just bad overall. So let me tell you guys a story. So there was this event. It's a Indian festival. It's called Garba, and we all went. Okay, so it started off as a traditional Garba event, which was fun. Everyone's dressed up, everyone's having food, and it's a nice social event. All of a sudden, they play one banger Hindi song, and everyone's going crazy. Whoa, 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 whoa! We went from just a traditional Garba to like party. Like, what's going on? They switch it back to traditional. Everyone's like, okay, all right, just a teaser. A few songs later, boom! They turn off the lights. Disco lights go on. What is going on? They play straight hit after hit after hit, banger after banger after banger. People are moshing, people are dancing, people are going crazy. People who didn't get tickets were like trying to sneak in or trying to get tickets to the this event was hosted at the gym. Oh my god, you guys, I have never had that much fun in my entire life. Up until that moment, like, that was just so much fun. We were just dancing. People were crowd surfing, people were getting lifted up. I was like, whoa, I hadn't felt this way in a really long time. I was just having a great time overall. Definitely a very core memory. It came time, the event was ending. I needed to catch the bus to go home. I had class early the next day. So I think, like, collectively we decided we were all gonna go on a bus at the specific time, because we didn't think that we were gonna stay at this event for super long. But because this event started getting, like, it kind of changed tones and started getting really fun and people are coming, they wanted to stay longer, which I totally understand. So I was like, it's fine, but I need to go, so I'm gonna take the bus home, which was like, the bus was full anyway, so it wasn't a safety thing. The dichotomy, I think the word is, of feeling so surrounded by people that I cared about and having so much fun to immediately being alone again, oof, that felt like I was jumping in from the jacuzzi to a cold pool, an ice bath. But so I got home and I sat down at my desk, I think to prep for the next day or to check my emails or just whatever, and it hit me all at once. I started sobbing. Okay, yet again, future editing GB over here. what I missed to say, which truly encompasses what I was feeling, is that it's incredible how lonely I felt when I wasn't alone. I was amidst so many people, yet I felt so lonely inside. Okay, back to the episode. I was like uncontrollably crying, and I called one of my close friends at the time, and I was like, can you talk? And they were like, I think they were like in the middle of something, and then they heard my quivering voice, and I cried a lot that day, like looking back. That's the day that I was telling you guys that my eyes were so swollen that I couldn't go to my first class in the morning, which was like a 7:30 a.m. thermodynamics class. I remember I couldn't go. That was my first class that I missed, actually. After that call, we kind of came to the conclusion that something needs to change, and I can't keep feeling this way. And I realized that I was expecting to have these connections and these friendships similar to the ones that I had made for my entire life growing up. Some of my childhood friends, I'm so close with them, and for some reason I was expecting to have that same connection with these people that I just met maybe a few months ago online, or for the first time in person. And I'm like, girl, like, be real right now. How can you expect that? Like, why are you expecting that? Is that even organic? Like, is that even gonna be real? That's kind of an unreasonable ask for you to kind of unknowingly, it's not unreasonable, but I think I just unknowingly was yearning that connection when I realized that things take time. And I kind of gotta start from ground up and make these friendships from level 1, which I wasn't used to. Some of my friends I've known for years. Like, I've known them since I was 2 or 3. Since I was in elementary school. Some people I was meeting in college, I hadn't known them for a week. How can I be expecting to make up for all of these lifelong experiences within that short period of time? Make it make sense. I don't know. Once I realized that, I was like, okay, girl, I gotta slow it down. Take a chill pill. Let's take a step back. Let's listen to ourselves, and let's stop faking this whole circus. And let's go with what we want to do. Okay? So I did that. That night was so critical because I really had to break to revamp how I was viewing things. It was a really strong wake-up call for me. And after that night, let me tell you guys, I think it was honestly at that 3-week mark, I was like, alright, I think I know what I need to do. I feel really good. I'm gonna start being comfortable with being alone, start listening to myself a bit more, and start doing what I want to do, and start taking care of myself a bit more. And naturally, things are gonna fall in place. There's no need to force things. It's okay. It's okay with being uncomfortable. Embrace it. It's okay with this period of you don't know what you're doing. You don't need to have it figured out at all times. It's okay, because guess what? It's gonna happen. Trust me, it's gonna happen. I wish I could tell myself that when I was in this phase, but I'm glad that I didn't, because I needed to learn it for myself. Like, it's gonna work out. You just have to embrace all of these emotions that are happening in that moment, and then it will click. If you don't embrace it, you're going to keep pushing it away. You're going to keep finding different paths, different routes. You have to go through the thick of it. You have to go through the muddy waters to get to the clear end. I swear to you, you need to. I hope this, if you're listening to this, I hope you understand, like, this is applicable in so many different, like, phases of your life, different experiences, this is applicable anywhere and everywhere. It's okay with being uncomfortable. It's okay with not knowing. It's okay with the uncertainty. As long as you're trying, it's gonna work out. As long as you're trying. With that being said, do not freaking give up. Don't just let loose. Don't just throw everything in the middle and just be like, alright, well, figure it out. Like, I'm gonna just sit here twiddling my thumbs until things make sense. Like, no, that's not how it's gonna work. You gotta put in the effort, and then you'll get there. But at the same time, in some situations, you have to see that's where, like, things get really case by case, right? in some situations you gotta kind of get out of it and you gotta move on, but in others, like if you've tried that already and it's not working, that's a sign like you really have to go through this. This is, whether you're religious, spiritual or not, like this is a sign from life telling you that you need to go through this because you're gonna learn a lot. And guess what? I did. I have so many stories when I lived alone, like no roommates at all in a new city when I was in Houston. I'll tell you guys about that later too. Like, yeah, I moved out when I went to college, but I was living with roommates and I was in that, like, you know, safe, controlled environment. But when I was in Houston, maybe that was a little bit less just because I didn't know anybody, etc., etc. Once, like, this was the second time, once I realized, like, I've got to experience everything, all of the emotions, so that I can learn and grow as a person, things started moving faster. Those lessons, I started learning them quicker because I stopped avoiding them. I stopped putting up this barricade, this barrier. I put down my walls and I was like, teach me the lessons, and it starts happening faster. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Okay, so I told you guys about how my mind and my body were not in sync. So, like, a fun fact, I mentioned this in the last episode, but I actually did record a few episodes while in college because I wanted to continue, you know, the pod. Like, I didn't want to let go of it. I was having so much fun. It's just incredible the way that I was so scattered. You could tell. I was editing these episodes and I'm like, girl, what are you saying? Like, are you really feeling that way? Do you yourself know what's happening? How can you go and record an episode when you don't have it figured out? I just realized I was so scatterbrained, so all over the place. And I was just honestly having a hard time balancing it all. The friends, the academics, I haven't even touched that with you guys, but school was hard. School is hard. Second year classes, engineering classes, they're hard. Social life, homesickness, responsibilities, independence, trying to figure out myself, trying to learn about myself. It was all a lot. I was having, if I'm being frank, without realizing, I was kind of having a hard time balancing out. Those episodes honestly were a really good reflection of how I was feeling. So I thought it was good to take some time off, enjoy the moment, really experience everything. All the ins and outs, all of the colors of the spectrum. Every minute detail and experience I could capture from college, I wanted to. I wanted to be fully present, and that's what I did. And now that I've done that, I can't wait to share it with all of you guys. So with that, I'm gonna close off this episode. It's been really fun ranting and talking to you guys, and honestly, I'm kind of living those experiences again as I share it with you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on OTGWG on Instagram. DM me. Let me know how you felt about this episode. Tell me what you want to hear next. If you have any questions, shoot them to me. And yeah, I think that's it for this episode. I can't wait to get back into these. I really miss doing this. I'm going to stop yapping now and go do my Sunday errands. Hope you guys had a great time. And stay safe, stay happy. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.